I'd like to start off today's lecture event with a quote. Financial planning and discipline is key to one's financial freedom. Good evening, everyone. The Department of Economics welcomes you to yet another lecture conducted under the lecture series organized by the Economics Forum. Our chief guest for today is Ms. Bhargavi Gopi. Our esteemed chief guest, Ms. Bhargavi Gopi, is an alumnus of St. Joseph's College of the BCom 2016-2019 batch and is currently pursuing her Masters of Science in Quantitative Finance at Northeastern University, with her relevant coursework including investment analysis, corporate finance, fundamentals of financial mathematics and markets, data analytics in finance, empirical methods of finance, derivatives, and risk analytics. During her semester at Northeastern University, Ms. Gopi worked for the 360 Huntington Fund USA as an analyst at the Student Managed Mutual Fund at Northeastern University. Prior to her semester, oh no. Sorry, a few technical difficulties on my side. Prior to her semester at business school, she also worked under the global finance team at one of the Fortune 500 companies, Hewlett Packard Enterprises, for over a year. During her undergraduate studies at St. Joseph's College, Autonomous, Ms. Gopi worked for LXL Ideas, Bangalore, India, as a communication coach for a project named Expression Society, which emphasized on how students express better using various tools like school cinema and crayon, to name a few. It is an honor, dear ma'am, to have you among us for today's lecture. Handing over to you, ma'am, kindly requesting you all to ensure that your mics are muted and videos are turned off during the lecture. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Firstly, I would like to thank my professors and St. Joseph's for giving me this opportunity. I would like to give you a heads up before starting the presentation that I am a student, I am still learning, and I am no expert. I was once in your situation as well. I was a student at St. Joseph's too, and this is a great opportunity for me as it opens a lot of doors and it gave me a lot of platform to start learning new things and trying to make you understand financial planning in my perspective. I would like to start sharing my screen and just give me a second. Can somebody confirm if they can see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, you can see it.
Sure. So hi, my name is Bhargavi Gopi, and I would be presenting to you financial planning in my perspective as of today. It was when I was 5 years old that I was introduced to the concept of financial planning. And of course, everybody's childhood takes you back to the concept of a piggy bank. So I wondered where all my money went, all the money that I received from my family members, from my friends, from my dear ones, as a token of love. Yes, as a 5-year-old, it was a big deal to see that my money was vanishing the minute it reached a magician who I called my mom. Yes, I sat and observed my mom fill up my piggy bank with all the money that I was given. I questioned her why she was doing this, why she was putting it in there. She said to me that wait for a while you grow up, these amounts would have accumulated and then you can use it for whatever you want. I sat there dreaming about all the chocolates that I could have, all the variety of ice creams that I could pick, and also the toys that I could buy. It was at this point of time that in my life I realized that financial planning actually existed. But as I grew up, bummer, I came to realize that financial planning was in existence even before I was born. Financial planning's the origin started on the December 12th of 1969 when the salesman Lauren Dunton along with 12 others had a mission in mind. Now, what was this mission all about? The mission was to offer a population alternative to a social security. Social security is the it's like the local banks that save some money, that you give your money to. They save it up for a while, of course along with interest, and give it back to you after a point of time. This plan was executed using financial literacy. So what they did was they decided that they should empower people with the education of how their finances could be better managed. So Lauren and the 12 others formed an international college of financial counseling, and they also formed an association of financial counselors, which is called the IAFC. So this is the council that is responsible for all the exams that are conducted, like CFP, that is the Chartered Financial Planning exams. What was financial planning for me when I was in St. Joseph's? Like you can see in my slide, community. Yes, that's right. Plan B, community, and Karakchai were my main motives as a student at St. Joseph's. So I was given a source of money which was called pocket money, which I feel most of you can relate to. So pocket money was the only stable source of income for me at that point of time. Each month, I decided to allocate my pocket money under various branches of expenses that I felt I would occur. So I used to travel using a two-wheeler, and my classes were 7 a.m. And we all know that 75% of attendance is a mandate. So I decided to go ahead and divide my expenses under fuel, shopping, and a few meals. So now I did have some money left out to still chill with my friends at Plan B, Community, Karakchai, and also Majus Block. I cannot forget that. What actually is financial planning? So financial planning is basically, as the term suggests, it's the planning of finances based on your future events. So for example, if we want to buy a car, if we want to buy houses, if we want to plan a vacation with our friends and family, financial planning comes in very handy. So financial planning actually starts at a very early age that we do not understand because our parents are usually planning for us instead of us. And once we start, understanding the concepts, that's when we're supposed to be starting. It starts at a very, very early age. If I go by the textbook definition, then financial planning is a process of setting, planning, achieving, and reviewing your life goals through proper management of your finances. Now, this is called the financial pyramid. Financial pyramid has various stages. Yes, you heard it right. Financial planning starts with the stage called wealth protection. This is also called as the cash flow stage. Here, one must ensure, sorry, just give me a second. Here, one must ensure that they have a positive cash flow. So cash flow as a concept basically means having an idea of how much inflow of cash you have in hand and how much outflow of cash you have in hand. This basically means how much you're earning and how much you're going to be spending. So this stage is where you're supposed to be working with the budget in your life. You start trimming your expenses and thereby you feel like there's an increase in your income. This is the stage where you create a balance between paying your bills, of course, that is mandatory, and also investing into your various various means of saving, I can say. So I will be talking about a little more about this topic in the coming few slides. The second stage, like you can see, is the saving stage. This is also called as the risk management stage. As boring as it sounds, insurance is it's a very, very essential part of this stage. And you start exploring insurance options that you have, and you also start so insurance basically provides a net. It's a safety net for you during catastrophic and unforeseen situations. So you might have some emergency, you might suddenly need a lot of money. So saving stage is something that helps you plan for these particular stages of your life. So like I've mentioned here, education, retirement, emergencies, and investments. Investments comes last in the priority at this stage because you are mostly planning for your catastrophes and other unforeseen circumstances. Stage three is called the growth stage. It's also called as investment stage. So here you are basically investing money, like I mentioned before, for various reasons like buying a car, buying a property for yourself, gifting expensive gifts to your family members, and also planning vacation with friends and family. So how do you start? How do you enter this stage? So growth stage basically is entered by creating an online investing account. So this usually includes investing in stocks and shares in bonds and things like that. So the first thing that you're supposed to be doing during this stage is start an investing account and invest some money after thorough research. So there are people who do research for you, and those are called brokers, like you must have heard. So there are a number of brokers again, and a heads up that I would like to give to you at this point of time is understand who your broker is, understand what their goals is for you, and just make sure that you understand that there should be a match in between your goals and the goals that the broker has for you. So this balance is absolutely necessary for you to flourish at this stage of your financial pyramid. Stage 4 is also called as risk planning or tax planning. So taxes are something that we're all concerned about, and it's absolutely important for us to pay up our taxes. So tax planning also goes hand in hand with something called retirement planning. So here you search for investments that help you save on taxes. So tax evasion is a crime, but tax saving can never be called a crime. So I have a few examples that I can talk about during this stage that you can use is invest in municipal bonds that allow you to avoid taxes on your gains. So municipal bonds, your FDs, these are the things that you should be considering as avenues for your investment. The stage 5 is called estate planning. Estate planning is a far-fetched thought for most of us because this actually starts during your retirement age. So as you're close to your retirement age, you start planning and you start entering the estate planning stage. So here you want to make sure to have a clear idea of what your assets are, what your liabilities are, and also who is going to take over your assets and who's going to carry on your legacy. So estate planning is that stage that gets you onto thinking about everything that you have done in your life, reflect back on your assets, reflect back on who you want to give these assets to, and also make sure that everybody who you're giving your assets to knows exactly what the intricacies of your assets are. Next, what are the key steps to draw a basic financial plan? Let me give you an example let me give you a heads up, I can call it, that financial planning can start at any age. There is no necessity or a hard and fast rule that you are supposed to be starting it at a particular point of time. But I would suggest, in my opinion, that starting off at your early ages, like, your early 20s is something that I would suggest because it turns out to be very beneficial for anybody who is trying to, plan for the rest of their life. Now, the first step is assess your financial situation. A good first step is developing a financial plan. Financial plan is, basically it means you're assessing your current financial situation, understanding what is your income, understanding what is your outflow, and a clear understanding of this situation can help you decide where exactly you're going to be starting your financial plan from and what are your financial goals. So I feel like this is a very important stage for you because you are supposed to clearly know what your financial plans are. It might not be for a very long period of time, like 5 years or 3 years, say, but it can be for a very short period of time as well. That is, it starts from 3 months and can go up to 12 months. So you can exactly make a note of where you want to be financially from 3 months from now to 12 months from now. Knowing your net worth is a very important part of this stage, because you start by making a list of all the assets that you have, all the liabilities that you have. So this way you have a clear idea as to what your goal is and what are the resources that you have at this point of time to reach your goal. The next step is to create a budget. So basically, as Indians, it's not very uncommon for us, because we do see our parents, we do see our elders work on a budget. Be it our grandparents who like to save, some money in the kitchen, because I've always seen my grandmother save some money in various parts of the kitchen, and I've always wondered what is the money doing in the kitchen. But I didn't realize that she was trying to make a budget and work within it. Creating a budget is very, very important, as this stage makes you understand your inflow and outflow of money, and also makes you understand something called your habits with money. So it's called money habits, and you can take control of your spendings and your savings in this stage. So you will get a clear idea of what it is like and what it should be like. So this is like an expectation versus reality stage. And the next stage would be to set your financial goals. So financial goals, like I mentioned before, can be of different timelines. So there can be like a long-term financial goal. There can be a short-term financial goal, and identifying these goals are very, very essential. So for me, at this point of time, financial goals can mean I want to plan a vacation to Florida in summer, and now we're in January. So I know that I have 4 months in hand to plan my vacation. So how am I going to go ahead and look for avenues where I will be earning money and I will be spending money, and where I should be cutting is what you get a clarity on in this stage. So setting your financial goal kind of gives you the pathway to where you want to reach. So the next is called know your risk tolerance. Risk tolerance is basically how much risk a person can take based on the first three steps. So once you've created a budget, and first step being assessing your financial situation and your financial goals. So you know exactly how much risk you can be taking. So there are different I can call it, there are different stages and there are different levels of risk tolerance. Some people can be extremely good with risk and they can take on a lot of risk. And the rest of us, like I would consider myself a conservative risk taker. So I do not like too much risk on my plate. So I am a conservative risk taker. So the different stages are conservative risk taker, moderately cautious risk takers, a balanced risk taker, a moderately aggressive risk taker, and an aggressive risk taker. Aggressive risk takers are usually the ones who get the highest returns from their investments, because aggressive risk takers go with the policy that higher the risk, higher the return. So this is where you actually sit down and understand how much risk are you ready to take, or how much risk can you actually take. So knowing your risk tolerance stage is basically meant for you to understand how much risk you can consume, based on which you can plan ahead. There are different types of risks as well, like market risks, interest rate risks, business risks, currency risks, inflation risks that most of us are subjected to, is what I can say. And that is something that we cannot avoid. There are some risks that we can avoid, though, that is based on our investment plan. Step 5 is called work out and implement a basic financial plan. So in this stage, you basically, so this can be done in different ways. You can actually sit down with a financial planner and explain to them your situation, your goals, your future plans. So this way they can help you out with this stage, or you can also do it all by yourself. So identifying your future consumption, knowing what insurance you want to be a part of, or your parents have already put you to be a part of, is what comes under this stage where you sit down and implement a financial plan. So basically, this stage also includes taking baby steps towards the plans that you have built. It starts with implementing. And stage six is regularly reviewing and adjusting your financial plan. This is an absolutely important concept because we all have a misconception that once we have a plan for the next 4 months or the next 1 year that we have planned for is not going to change. But that's not how life works. So regularly reviewing your plan is basically after every month, keep like a check post where you know that you've finished 1 month on your financial plan. You go back to your plan, you understand what your goals were, and you see what they actually are. You also see how your financial plan is working. Is it impacting your standard of living? So this is where you can make changes, and this squashes the myth that financial plan once made cannot be changed. That's not how it works. Financial plans are very flexible, and they're flexible for I can say, they're flexible for reasons that are justifiable. So if you say, no, I'm not having enough pocket money left in my pocket, so I think I'm going to change my financial goal or my plan, that's not how it's going to work. Um, Next, common misunderstandings about financial planning. Financial planning should be done only when one is reaching the retirement stage of their life. I would like to say I'm extremely sorry, but this is not how it works. Financial planning starts at a very early age, as early as your early 20s, like I mentioned before. Retirement stage, yes. So you are planning for your retirement stage. You are trying to say, so retirement stage basically is when a person has reached a particular age, they cannot work anymore. But how does the idea of, okay, I'm not going to earn any money from tomorrow sound? That's a I think it's a very intricate situation, and some people might have a lot of stress when it comes to this stage. So it is always better to plan beforehand for this particular stage and also understand what your requirements are going to be at this particular stage, because once you reach retirement, which means you have reached old age, and I hope nobody falls in this situation, but it just in case, if you need some medical assistance, if you need some support, and if you just want to go on a vacation all by yourself without any funding from your children at that point of time, retirement stage planning is absolutely important for these particular reasons. Second, financial planning is a synonym for investing. I feel that this is the biggest misconception people can have, because financial planning doesn't necessarily have to be investing. Because let me take you back to the era when our grandparents used to have money come into the house, and our grandmothers put these in kitchen, and I mean in kitchen cabinets or under their bed, or some people had a book in which they kept some finances, and they used to write down their expenses. Did this mean that they were investing money? I feel that's a wrong notion that is given about financial planning. Financial planning just means that you're sitting down, evaluating the situation, and also understanding how much money you have, how much money you need, and what are the things that you need your finances for. Third misconception. Once a financial plan is prepared, you don't have to rework on it periodically. Like I just spoke about this topic, financial plans, once prepared, can be reworked on periodically, and usually is reworked on periodically. So the reality is, a lot of times certain things don't go the way we want them to go, and there is no conventional way of doing things. But in financial plan, you have the ability to go back and make a few changes to make your financial plan work the way you want it to work. So there is a concept in investments as well, in portfolio management, that I learned last semester. So that is called portfolio rebalancing. So here, if you have invested certain amount of money into a particular stock and in a company, and you feel like that company is not working the way you want it to work, or it's not giving you returns that you expected it would give you, you can actually take out your money from that company and invest your money in another company. So this concept is called portfolio rebalancing. The next misunderstanding is one requires an enormous amount of money to start financial planning. I used to have a pocket money of 150 rupees, guys. So I've started, I started, thinking about how much I'm going to spend in community, or how much I wanted to have a chocolava cake at the little canteen behind a rupee block. So I would decide that, okay, today I'm going to spend 20 rupees outside. So how much do I have left in my pocket? You do not need an enormous amount of money to start financial planning. You can start with even 10 rupees. You can say, okay, today I think I'm going to save the 10 rupees, and for a later date, and I can use this 10 rupees for something else tomorrow. So you don't need a lot of money to start financial planning. Now, know the rules. There are 6 golden rules that is mentioned by Forbes, for millennials, for us specifically. So first rule is start somewhere. So by this rule, they mean that you know actually thinking about actually sitting down, having a peep in your wallet, having a peep in your UPIs, and seeing how much money you have is also a point where you start financial planning. It can be the start of a very great step that you have taken towards financial planning. So a good first step is to start by tracking your monthly expenses, how much your income is, and where you're spending it currently, and moving on to how much you should be spending in reality to make sure that your future goals are met, is the first golden rule of financial planning, I would say. The second rule is called manage your money. So manage your money is is a stage that I feel I could have worked better on when I was at your age. So so this rule basically talks about how savings are the fuel for investments. So if in case some of you have savings, or if you have the ability to borrow some money from your parents, you can start investing small amounts of money into different avenues, like opening a savings account, investing in a fixed deposit account, or buying small stocks and shares of small value, and then see how it goes. So I feel that our generation is given a lot of power, because we have the power to play around with our money. And when I say play around, I don't mean in a casual way. I mean, uh, we have the power vested in us to make sure that we want our money invested in a certain avenue, and we can say, okay, this avenue is not earning enough money for me, so I'm going to take it out and put it somewhere else. So managing your money is that stage where you actually decide how you would want your money to come out as a profitable investment for you. Next, the basics. So like I mentioned, basics takes us back to the fact that insurance is a must. As boring as this sounds, it is um, absolutely important and essential for one to know what insurance they have and what insurance they should be buying, because insurance, like I mentioned before, is a safety net for you. So when you have insurance that your parents have taken in your name, or you are investing in, it behaves as, it's basically like a reserve of your money, and it is something that doesn't make you feel the pinch of a situation financially when the situation comes up. So like for example, I'm riding on a bike, and god forbid something happens, my headlight is broken, and I have a motor insurance. I have somebody who can take care of the finances. Of course, it's my money, but when that happens, and when there's a lot of money that is supposed to be spent on this, you are not going to feel the pinch, because the insurance company is going to take care of your expenses at that point of time. So that is a very, very important aspect of your basics. So insurance, understanding insurance is absolutely necessary for everybody of our age, and people who are you know people who have already been in the industry, or people who have already invested in the industry, are somebody who can be great mentors for you to understand what the details of insurance looks like. The next rule would be invest according to your goals. So um, as millennials, I feel like we have a habit of, having a conversation with our friend, seeing what they are investing in. Hey, did you invest in that stock? Your friend says, and you say, no, I didn't. And you see the prices of the stock, and the prices of the stock may be too high, or the returns may be too low. But only to fit in, you might want to be like, okay, I think I'm going to buy the stock. So I feel like this particular rule as to which says invest according to your goals is very essential for us, because each of us have different financial goals. Maybe we want to go on a vacation, and maybe our friend just wants to sail through the year without taking pocket money from his parents or her parents. So this stage makes you realize this rule is basically a thumb rule that nobody can break and nobody should break, because everybody's financial goals are different, and everybody plans in different ways, and everybody has different ways of making their money, earn money for them. So invest according to your financial goals is something that Forbes mentioned as a very, very important rule for us. Then diversify your investments. Yes, guys. So diversifying your investments basically means not putting all your eggs in one basket. Putting all your eggs in one basket can sound a lot more like gambling, but it is not actual gambling, but it may sound like you're gambling. So you're kind of betting that, your eggs, so all the money, if you put it in one particular stock, it's basically like you're betting on that stock. But that comes with a lot of risk. And are you equipped enough to take that much risk is what you should be questioning yourself. So diversifying your investments is always a safe, it's a very safe strategy, I say, because if you invest in stocks and shares, if you invest in buying gold, or if you invest in different avenues that you have, it makes it easy for you to kind of diversify your risks as well. It's not just your investments. It makes you spread out your risks over a particular patch. So this way you are a lot more safer than the rest of them who try to put all their eggs in one basket. The last rule is plan your retirement as soon as possible. Yes, you heard it right. So 2022 went by the blink of an eye, and retirement might sound like a very, very long fetched thought, but financial planning, basically one of the reasons why people start planning is for their retirement stage. You might feel like, okay, I'm still young, I have a lot of time to reach this stage, but we won't even realize when we've reached this stage. A few people prefer early retirements, like retirements at the age of 40, retirements at the age of 50. Of course, that is up to your discretion, but having a solid plan for your life after your retirement in terms of your finances is absolutely essential, is what Forbes suggests us millennials to do. We are next talking about recommendations. So these are certain books and movies that I would like to recommend all of you and everybody who are in our age group to read. The first one would be the Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. The second one would be The Tao Charlie Munger. Then Too Big to Fail is a movie that all of us must watch, and it is based on the Lehman Brothers, that call the destruction of Lehman Brothers, I can say, based on the 2007-2008 event that happened. Margin Call is again a wonderful movie that you all should be watching about. There are a few more books and movies that I could recommend to you based on the kind of person you are. So I'm a visual person, so if I watch things, I understand better and I grasp things. I grasp things better. But if you're a person who likes reading, I think there are a few more books, and one that I can think on top of my head is The Psychology of Money. Connecting and networking is absolutely essential for you at this point of time. So I would suggest talk to people who you look up to, or people who you feel can help you in your process of starting your planning, and understanding how you can plan, who know you better. So there are some people who can be very, very professional in terms of, suggesting and helping ideas to you. And there can be some people who can give it a personal touch, who know you in and out, who know your finances, who know your financial condition. So those people are the ones who can help you out with understanding what your financial plan should look like. But I would like to suggest strongly that you make your financial plan on your own without anybody's help, and then you can start reviewing your financial plan with others. So this is a great opportunity for you to reflect on your current situation and what you want your future to be like. So it's like a lot of food for thought for you. Um, and uh, the Yes, LinkedIn. I feel like LinkedIn is a great platform for each of you, for you to hop on and start using LinkedIn, because LinkedIn not only provides you opportunity to connect, but it also provides you a lot of information. Like, it's a pool of information that where you can make a choice as to what you should be picking and what you should be dropping. So financial planners usually provide a few free financial plans for a particular year. So they have a number. Basically, they can help you 20 people by giving them free plans, and they also put up a lot of information and data that is helpful for you in terms of redoing your plan and seeing what is more valuable and what is not. So you can also see. So LinkedIn is a very, very, very vast pool where you can find information, connection, and opportunities. So you can find me on LinkedIn. This is my profile, and you can reach out to me in case you have any questions after this seminar, and I will try my level best to get you answers. If I myself have no answers for it, I will try reaching out to people who I feel know answers for your questions. And yes, thank you so much again for patiently listening to uh, you know everything that I presented. And yes, you can ask me any questions if you have. I could take a couple of questions if you have any questions at this point of time.
Thank you, ma'am. It was truly enlightening and insightful, and I'm sure many of us present here have learned a thing or two about financial planning. If the audience has any questions for ma'am, I would like to kindly request you all to put your questions forward by typing them out in the chat box.
um, Is mutual funds a good investment opportunity for college students? The answer is yes. So mutual funds are usually a safety investment. So it is subject to market risk for sure, but it is a safe investment in comparison to how much risk stocks and shares have. So yes, mutual funds is a good and a safe investment for college students. But there is a lot of research that is required for an investment before you make it. So make sure that you have thorough understanding of anything that you're investing in, and also talk to a couple of people who you feel could be helpful for you, and then you can take a decision if it's a good avenue to invest in. How do we go about starting to invest in stocks? And there are a lot of technical terms which make it hard to understand. I completely understand where you come from, and even after learning so much about quantitative finance, I still feel there are a lot of terms that I don't understand. So a friend of mine suggested using the Varsity app by Zerodha. I would really suggest all of you to look up Zerodha. It is a Bangalore-based startup, and they provide great information. So Varsity is one of their apps which provide you 14 model. So they give you 14 different, it's more like a chapter, I can say. So these talk about basics of investing, what are the terms in investing, what are the different terminologies that you should know before investing in stocks. So it's an absolutely free app that I use myself, and there are certain exercises which are interactive, and I would suggest you all to download that app and have a look at it while you are in college, because you still have a little time in between your assignments and your NSEM or mid-sem exams. But yes, understanding each technical term is absolutely important. And my answer to this would be, please download the Varsity app, which is free of cost. And that's where you'll find most of your answers for your technical questions that you have. What should be the capital allocation in terms of risky and stable assets? So there is no hard and fast rule as to, this is the percentage that one must invest in risky assets or stable assets. It depends on your personal risk appetite as to how much risk you can take. So I'm a moderate risk taker, so I would go 60% on stable assets and 40% on risky assets, but it is completely different. So like you see, five fingers are not the same size, so you can, it depends on a lot of factors. And another factor that plays a role in this is your age. So consider your age, consider your income, and also consider how much risk you're ready to take. So that way, there's always there's always a balance that you're supposed to be striking in between the two. And it depends on how much risk you can take. So if you're an aggressive risk taker, it can be 60% of risky assets and 40% of stable. But since I'm a moderate, I go vice versa. So it absolutely depends on you as a person.
Surprising.
So suggest books or apps. I'm not being biased, but Varsity is something that I use personally, because they have videos, they have graphic representations, they have pictorial representations, and it does help a lot in terms of understanding the jargons of investments. So that they give you a 360 view of uh, what are the technicalities that are involved in investing. So Varsity is one of the apps that I would suggest. Another thing I would suggest in terms of investments, once you start earning, is before you start earning, I think it's never too late to start reading. I think you should start reading right away. Start with books in the genre of finance and economics. And Psychology of Money is a great book that you can read. And I would also suggest you to watch a lot of finance genre movies on Netflix, Amazon, and the other things that are available, too big to fail. Understand how these things worked, so it'll give you an ideology of what mindset you should have before investing. And so finance goes back in date to history. It is somewhere related to history. So if you have time and interest, try understanding international history. It's not just Indian history that we should be interested in, but understanding global history is very, very important when you are trying to understand where the ideology of investments and things came from. So I just read a book which is called Sapiens, which takes us back to how money came into origin, and how it moved from barter system to the system that we have right now. So that was very helpful for me in understanding where humankind comes from in terms of understanding these concepts. So I would suggest you to watch and read these books. They're very, very helpful. Another pro tip would be, if you've started earning money, even before you start earning money, I would suggest, this is something that I didn't do and I'm trying to start doing it right away, is identify industries that you're interested in and try seeing who the best players in the market are for that industry. So for example, if you're talking about chemical industry, or you're talking about consumption, like consumer goods industry, start reading up about the company and getting an idea of what their tone of working looks like. Also, an important pro tip is, what I do is I randomly open the stocks and see what their prices are, so that even if you don't have an idea, you will get a basic understanding of, okay, how I decoded it was, if it's in green, which means it's good, how much percentage has it gone up, what has its performance been in the past in the past 3 months, 6 months, 9. So stock investing, I think stock investing is something that we all fall for. An exit plan from stock investments is something that you should be very, very consciously taking. So exit plan from stock investing comes in when you as a person feel satisfied by your portfolio's performance. So if you feel, so again, that's why I said, make a list, make a clear understanding of what your goals are and how much you want to earn. So I am a person who believes in being old school, so I kind of like writing things down. So when I write it down, it's very difficult to, negate it or cross it. So if you feel like you have written something down, which is your goal for, what your investments should look like, and if you see that your investments have actually met that goal and have actually gone beyond it, that's a great thing. I think that's the right plan, right time to exit from stock investing. So in terms of sectors, for the coming 5 years, I think, so in sectors there are different categories. So one which is mostly ever shining, and so one which is ever shining and which is, which always gives you brownie points, and it's kind of very attractive to actually fall into them. Like, I feel the concept of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have been that for a while now. But according to me, I'm not an expert again, but for me, I would feel like understanding the sector and what it works like. So if I feel like, it protects environment or it damages the environment, that's a factor that I consider. So because I'm not a person who appreciates any damage that is caused to the environment, so I feel like that's not my sector. So understanding your personal likes and dislikes along with the returns paired with the returns in the sector is something that you should be considering. IT, real estate, these are the sectors that are going to see a boom, that are already in great performance, but will see a boom in the coming future. Next question is, how can one motivate themselves to stick to a budget? Very nice question. Making a budget for oneself is possible, but not a lot of people can actually abide by it. That's absolutely right. So people of our generation basically lack something called discipline. And when I say our generation, I'm including me as well. So there were days back in undergrad when I used to slip and, kind of go overboard over a Meganas or a corner house plan randomly out of the blue. But I feel like having discipline is something that is very, very essential for us to stick by the plan. And if you feel that you have a lot of money and you have money that you have saved and you feel that you fear using it, I would suggest you to start putting it into avenues where you cannot go back and use it. It has to stay there. You cannot easily withdraw it. I think that is. So the avenues that you can use here could be mutual funds, and so your money is kind of locked there for 3 to 5 years. So uh, that is a very nice way of tricking your mind that, okay, I don't have the money on hand. So if you have cash on hand, you spend it. But if kind of, and I feel like what motivates me when I make a budget is the fact that the end result. So for example, right now I am right now I am planning for my Florida trip, like I mentioned, in summer. So I am more driven in my head that, okay, should I pick this or should I go to this restaurant and go for an eat out casually with my friends, or should I plan, exploring another place in Florida? So traveling is something that I really love doing. So I kind of, am driven by that factor. So find that one factor that drives you. For example, be it good food, be it great investment returns, or be it traveling and things like that. So I think that's one way that you can keep yourself motivated. Okay, so what should we do when there is excessive money flow at a point and comparatively less amount in the next term? So this is when you can reach out. So it depends on the amount of money, excessive money that you're receiving. So there are different stages. So for example, if you get married, you have, like, instead of having one source of income, you have two sources of income with you guys. Come on, reality. Or if you are receiving a property as a gift from your family, that is a lot of money. You don't know what to do. So this is a point where you take the cue and talk to a financial advisor and ask them how you should be doing it. Or I would suggest that, see, investments in stocks is something that doesn't have to be meticulous every month. So you can invest excessive money that you have and that you feel is something that you need to keep out of your hand so that you don't spend it. So invest that money into stocks and shares. Again, you have to talk to a number of people about what stocks and shares are actually booming, or what is selling, what is undervalued at this point of time, so that you can buy it at a lower price and sell it at a higher price. So talk to people about it. But a heads up would be, don't ever share your actual finances with anybody but your financial, planner, because there can be misuse of information, or there can be a change of perception towards you by people. I'm not saying this will happen, but this can happen, so just be cautious about that. But yes, you do have to talk to people, understand what they are investing in, understand what they feel is uh, profitable. So that's the way you go about it.
Thank you for putting those questions forward, and thank you, ma'am, for answering them ever so patiently. I would like to now request Ms. Reshma, President of the Economics Forum, to propose the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabia. Um, Good evening to all. I deem it an honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. First and foremost, I thank our guest lecturer, Ms. Bhargavi Gopi, who, despite her busy schedule, found time to grace this occasion. I can say on behalf of everyone here that this lecture has been of immense help for us in planning our everyday expenses. We are grateful to our Vice Chancellor, Father Victor Lobo, for his continued support to the activities of the Department of Economics. I thank our Dean, Mr. Clement D'Souza, for his support, enthusiasm, and encouragement for all of the efforts of the association. My sincere gratitude to the head of the department, Anita ma'am, for the unstinted support and guidance that she continues to offer us. Thank you, Flavia, for helping in conducting the event. My heartfelt thanks to all the faculty members of the department for their valuable contribution and guidance in all our efforts. Finally, we appreciate each and every one of you here for your cooperation in making this event a resounding success. Before you all leave the event, we have sent a form in the chat box. Please do leave your name and email in it so that we can send you the e-certificates. And thank you, ma'am, for attending the event.
A last few words that I would like to say is thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to connecting with all of you and answering any more questions that you have on LinkedIn. And do remember that I was in the same situation as you were in once in my life. I was a Josephite too. So once a Josephite, always a Josephite. Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity, guys. It was great. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.